With Roman Reigns banned and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Speaking about his journey to WWE, announcer for the company Mike Rome told out of character with Ryan Satin. Greg Hamilton, who used to be ring announcer for SmackDown and NXT before that, him and I actually used to work at American Idol together. When American Idol was close to shutting down at the parks, I ended up having Indiana Jones. He stayed there. When it closed completely, he ended up getting this audition for this wrestling thing he was talking about. It's like, oh, it's wrestling. And I was like, wrestling? What are you going to be hosting for wrestling? I don't understand. He's like, dude, I'm telling you, it's so cool and it's in Orlando. And I'm like, wait, wrestling's in Orlando? I knew it was back in the day. I was like, I didn't know it was still here. So he ends up going through this process. I'm still at Disney. He ends up getting hired working for something called NXT. At the time, NXT wasn't as popular as it is now, and it was just kind of catching fire. So I started doing all this research. I started watching NXT, and I went backwards and started catching up on all the wrestling because I kind of dropped off around the CM Punk era. So I had to go back and kind of catch up and see what I missed just in case. He's like, you'd be perfect here. I was like, okay, cool. Let me go and do some due diligence. I would go back and forth. I'd come down, come to a taping, and I would meet people. A month would go by, and I come down to another taping and I meet some more people. Talking about auditioning for WWE, Mike Rome said. And then finally, after like 6 or 7 months of that, I got an audition. I went in and I was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm doing this audition. They're like, we love you. It's great. You're in. It's golden. And then I didn't hear anything. That was in. Let me see. That had to have been in August because I think I was still in rehearsal for Halloween Horror Nights. It was probably August, so September, October, November, December, January is when I heard again from them. It was like 5 months. So I was like, wow. Usually you have an audition and you're like, yeah, I nailed that. I was so confident when I walked out of there and it just punched me in the face. I was like, maybe I didn't do as good as I thought I did. Taking to Twitter, Josh Barnett, who innovated the concept of Bloodsport, said this about NXT's Underground segment, writing, "Oh look, fake Bloodsport is back. Thank you for showing the world that this kind of thing has legs. We knew that already, and that even with 10 times the money in production, there is still only one Josh Barnett's Bloodsport." Touching on the potential fight between Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, Logan Paul said this on his podcast about making his UFC debut on that same card. "I'm curious if Elon Musk and Zuck are fighting because that's what I'm interested in. I'll be honest, I pitched it internally. If Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg fight, I will do my UFC debut on the undercard for free. I'll fight for free for charity. Anyone. You know who I want to fight actually? Because that ass Andrew Tate won't ever fight me. Give me Paddy Pimblett. In the offseason, that boy looks like a blimp, and he'll come up to my weight class, and I'll wallop him." With WWE doing great business in the UK for SmackDown and Money in the Bank, the combined gates have been revealed, as the company said in a press release. Friday Night SmackDown at the O2 becomes highest grossing SmackDown. WWE today announced that Money in the Bank, which emanated from the O2 in London on Saturday, became the most successful and highest grossing Money in the Bank of all time. Notably, Money in the Bank set a new record for highest grossing arena event in WWE history, and Friday Night SmackDown from the O2 became the highest grossing SmackDown of all time. The weekend generated a combined gate of more than $5.4 million. Money in the Bank also set new records for viewership, sponsorship, merchandise, and social media. Viewership jumped 17% from last year's record and surpassed the last UK premium live event, Clash at the Castle, by 30%. Sponsorship revenue was up 9% versus the record set in 2022. Money in the Bank marked the highest grossing arena event for venue merchandise in WWE history. Money in the Bank set a new record for on-location fan experience packages, becoming the highest grossing non-WrestleMania event ever. The event became the most social Money in the Bank of all time, with video views of the Bloodline Civil War match reaching 40 million in the first 48 hours, a 4 times jump from the top clip at Night of Champions, Jimmy Uso super kicking Roman Reigns. Additionally, Friday's episode of SmackDown on Fox drew 2.51 million total viewers, up 17% versus a year ago, and was number 1 in the 18 to 49 demographic with a 0.7 rating and 897,000 total viewers, up 39% versus a year ago. Following Money in the Bank, John Cena can be seen having a conversation with Rhea Ripley. Here's the video. As Sting admitted to needing stitches for his lip following his ladder spot in AEW Dynamite last week, Darby Allin gave a health update on the legend, telling Busted Open Radio, "Sting's actually doing great. We talked the day after he jumped off the ladder on Dynamite, and he said he was feeling great, which is awesome, because I pulled him aside after the match and said, yo, just be honest with me. How you feeling? Not just your mouth, but your neck, every single thing about your body. Because people forget he kind of retired in 2014, you know? When he took a buckle bomb, people kind of think that, you know? So for him to be going as hard, and trust me when I say this, it's none of my ideas, it's all him. He's just like, all right, there's a ladder here tonight, I'll jump off it." And a lot of people think it's me being the bad influence, but nah, it's him. He's got that hunger, he's got that want to give the fans something, and he's feeling great, and I'm stoked. Talking about his contract with AEW during his absence from the company, Jim Ross said this on his Grilling JR podcast. "I will be back. I will continue working. My contract with AEW is still in place. I don't have a lot of time left on it, but I've got enough. I'm not concerned about that. Either I'm retained or I'm not. I'm just going to take it a day at a time and see how it works out. But I enjoy working for AEW. It's fun to be a part of a startup. I said that when I was hired. It's great to see all these young guys start to come into their own, and I'd love to be there for the rest of the journey to help guide them along the way. Almost in a talent relations type situation. I enjoy helping these kids." During an interview with WrestleSphere, Zelina Vega said this about her current run with the LWO. "Joining the LWO changed my life, my wrestling career, and my life in general. It's a whole new form of person for me because I never thought I'd be a good guy ever. It's like I get to show a whole new side of me, and getting to train under Rey Mysterio is something I never thought I'd get to do." Reviewing the match between Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio at Money in the Bank, Jim Cornette said this on his Experience podcast. "Cody got a huge ovation in London. He's the biggest babyface in the wrestling business now. And that just also shows you how quick things can turn around. He was a babyface in AEW and the fans were booing him. And now he's the biggest babyface in the biggest wrestling company in the world. It's the same guy, but it's the presentation. You know, it's the same product, but you're getting a negative reaction because of the way you're marketing it in one place and it's selling like gangbusters in the other place." During the taping for AEW Rampage, Kenny Omega cut a promo where he hinted at a mystery partner for the upcoming Blood and Guts match. Here's the video.
Hey, he goes a little something like this. "There was a week when my whereabouts were unknown. I didn't stay home. I didn't go to Canada. But where I went was to recruit an old friend, someone who's very near and dear to my heart. And I've got no doubt in my mind, as much as he cares about me, he cares about defending this ring, he cares about this promotion, he cares about changing the face of professional wrestling. And if Blood and Guts in 2 weeks, there is no way we can lose."
Taking to Twitter, AEW star Keith Lee said this about fans following him in the middle of the night for a picture, writing, "I will offer this advice one time ever, so take a screenshot, make a mantra, whatever it takes. Do not follow someone for a block or two in the middle of the night just because you want a photo. If you do it, women, you're creepy. And where I'm from, it gets your ass beat." Speaking on my love letter to wrestling, Kevin Owens said this about his memories of working in the UK, saying, "I remember wrestling in Orpington where because this guy, Sami Zayn, actually, the crowds there just very tiny building, whatever, 400 or 500 people maybe, but it's so loud and so much fun to be in front of, to perform in front of. So obviously when we come here, the 2002 whatever, it's, it's multiplication by a lot, but it's always the same kind of energy. But yeah, I mean, my first time was in 2006 and it's always been great. It's always a treat to come here. It seems like they appreciate it more. Yeah, I know maybe the US fans might, that might take an exception to that, but it's just the way it is." Owens also touched on wanting to be a part of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, saying, "I'm actually a little annoyed I'm not in it this year. I love ladders. Yeah, I love ladders. I think I thrive in them. So to not get to do it kind of sucks." In some unfortunate news, former WWE star Danny Burch went on Twitter to post a link to a GoFundMe page which details his recent struggles. It reads, "Worst thing I've ever had to do in my life is ask for help, but I recently got my bank account hacked and lost everything. Impending rent and a legal fee that needs to be paid as soon as possible. Any little helps." On TikTok, Roman Reigns had 1.3 million followers and 7.6 million likes. Despite the popularity of his account, it has apparently been banned, as this could be due to the company's policy against videos including simulated violence. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.